This feels like an interrogation. Hi, I'm Ryan and I work at Wheelspin Models. I have done for quite a while now, but when I first came here, I had no clue. None. Zero. Never owned an RC car. Now I own 3. I got the Stinger, I got a Yokomo drift chassis, which I've spent a lot of money on. We won't talk about that. And then I've got this TT-02. Back when I first started, I'd never owned an RC car. But to understand how I got here, we need to kind of go way back to the start. There's a few reasons why I decided that the TT-02 would be a perfect car to start my RC journey. I knew I wanted a car that could do pretty much anything I wanted. I didn't want 3 RC cars when I first started here. I wanted one that would allow me to learn about the product and that I could just kind of leave. I'll admit I got a bit obsessed. What's so special about these cars and why are they so versatile? There's a lot of reasons. A lot of support. They're a very popular chassis, so there's a lot of parts for them. Secondly, like I said, I didn't want 3 cars. I wanted one that did 3 things. So I got the Drift Edition. And then was told it weren't allowed on any drift tracks. What are you doing, Andy? I'm filming, mate. What are you doing? You're getting in my shop. So even though it weren't allowed at any drift tracks, I was still going to try. I really wanted it to race, I wanted it to rally, and I wanted it to drift because I like drifting. Of course, that was before I got a very expensive drift car. So of course the challenge continues. I want this car to do 3 things, but to understand the mindset I had back then, we need to revisit back then. And that brings me to now. Before there were any RC cars on the table, before I even knew what an RC car could do or what specializations an RC car could have, I was still determined to take this TT-02 and rally it, race it, and drift it. And I'm in too deep to back out now. So, without further ado, here is naive Ryan, way back at the start of this job. Hi, I'm Ryan, and I am the marketer for Wheelspin Models, which is this place right here, surrounded by RC cars, much like this one in front of me. I've never had an RC car. I work in an RC shop, doing the marketing for RC products, posting RC cars pretty much every single day, and I have never, ever owned an RC car until now. This is a TT-02. That's about all I know about it. Tamiya have provided this TT-02 so we can do a series, and this series is going to be based on my lack of knowledge of RC cars. I know what you're thinking. Why'd you work at an RC shop if you don't know a single thing about RC cars? We know that there's people out there who want to get into RC and they're kind of intimidated by the whole thing. Believe me, I am too, but we're going to go through this together. You and me till the end, buddy. I'll be completely open. Everything that we're putting on the car, you can buy in the shop, and I will literally tell you the price either here, 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 or up there, maybe. Whatever space. I'll look at it in post and I'll figure out where I want to put it. Granted, it was, you know, kind of easy to build this. No, it wasn't. I'm lying. It's okay, because it's my first RC car, and it's not going to be perfect and it's not going to be great, but the main thing is it goes forwards and backwards, and that's pretty good. That's good. By my standards, that is pretty good. You know what, 100% honesty right here. When I bought it in here, it did not go forwards and backwards. I'd recommend, if you're building one of these for the first time, you can just DM our Facebook page and we will probably help you. I mean, if you just send us a picture of it, because that's what I did. We're going to be doing stuff, breaking stuff, ruining stuff. Terrible things will happen to this car. Will it break? Maybe. Will it not break? Unlikely. It's going to break a lot. My co-workers will be teaching me how to change things on this car. They'll be telling me what I need to do in order to do the things I want to do to it and do with it. So without further ado, I'm going to get Nick in the room and he's going to tell me what do I need to do to make this thing rally. So you're very much into rally.
Yeah, just a bit.
You've had a Metro in real life.
Yeah.
You've got a Cosy on the shelf, which you sold.
Yeah.
You got a Puma on the shelf. You got a Subaru on the shelf.
And a Mark II Escort.
And a Mark II Escort, all rally spec.
Yeah.
So I've got this TT-02. I know you've had TT-02s in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
What should I do to make sure this doesn't A, break,
Yeah.
and B, do absolutely nothing on gravel?
So the first thing, obviously, you know, you don't want to spend too much because this is sort of like an idea of getting everyone into it as an entry level. You'll have a lot of people be like looking at aluminium and or carbon fibre chassis and stuff like that. But, you know, to start with the basics, if you're looking at going off-road, get these straight off. They're not really going to do anything when you know, trying to go off-road with it. Good if you want to have a go on, you know, car parks and stuff like that, you know, but if you want to go off-road with it, then you want to make sure you're using something like these Fast Tracks wheels and tyres, which have got like the little rally blocks, so you can probably see by the tread on there, so they'll get in on the gravel for you quite a bit.
Yeah, very different
definitely.
To what's on these.
Yeah,
yeah,
so,
that's fair.
So something like that would be what I would, the first thing I would look at. Second thing would be something like this Tamiya TT-02 chassis cover set, mainly for basically going off-road. You're going to have all sorts of debris and muck and all that going in, getting in your chassis and stuff like that.
Yep.
Putting that on there just prevents a lot of it getting in there. It's not going to completely stop everything getting in, but it eliminates a hell of a lot of it, do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So you got that as well. Some people will happily use the standard shocks on there if they wanted to, but if it was me, and I've done it with my own TT-02s, I use these, which are the Fast Tracks aluminium upgraded shocks that you can get for them. They don't come with oil filled in them out the box, so you would need to get some oil, but to be honest, you can be paying anything from about £4 or £5 for some 30 weight shock oil that will fill all 4 shocks for you to certainly take a bit more abuse than the plastic ones will when you're going on some travel or something like that. So they're the sort of main things I'd look at doing.
What's your opinion on the TT-02? Because I know you've had TT-02s in the past.
Yeah.
Have you ever run into problems, issues building them like I have, or? I
haven't. I'm very, you know now, looking at some of them bodies that I've done, like the Escort Cosworth, I'm very anal. I'm very very meticulous with everything I do. I know people. I was
terrified bringing this in
to see all our reactions.
Sat there. It was you and it was Rich, and I just brought it in, and I was like, this could be backwards.
Did look it a little bit. But at the end of the day, you know, and we said it to you and we say it to customers in the shop, at the end of the day, you know, there's nothing wrong in building it wrong by mistake. You know, my first one I ever built, which was about 10, 12 years ago, way before I started work here, it took me about 2 days. But that was just because I was making sure each step I was doing, I was double checking, triple checking. I'm like, yeah, that's right, that goes on there. And now the likes of Simon and Rich will probably build one of them for you in about an hour and a half. Even I'm not that quick, mate, so don't worry about it. If I was doing it still myself, you know, it'd take me probably about half a day to build one. But that's just because I'll double check everything that I'm doing just to make sure it's done properly, just to avoid the issues like what you had, where you sort of like got bits hanging off, or
we'll just cut this out.
Yeah,
we'll just cut this. So when it comes to putting this on, I imagine it's kind of like an ordinary shell. Do you need some cutting?
Pretty much, yeah. Just basically trim round it and then just sort of like it'll plonk on top on there, so you should be all good. And they're not that expensive, but it's just a good way of keeping all the muck out. The one thing I like about the Sen Puma that I've just recently purchased is like a tub chassis, so it just eliminates getting all sorts of muck and stones and that in.
I imagine this will end up having some muck in it.
I'd have thought so.
I don't like to drag you away, but
no, that's all right. At the end of the day, mate, you know, you need any advice or any help with any of it, you know, it's the same for you as it is for people in the shop. Like, you know, we're here to help. So, you know.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Right, I'll get these alley shocks on. I'll get those monoblocks on, and we'll take it somewhere.
Yeah, we'll find somewhere to give it some stick.
Yep. So thank you so much.
It's all right, bud. No worries.
And yeah, may TT-02 have mercy on my soul.
Too right.
He knows way too much about rally cars, and he probably buys too many rally cars. But he's a specialist, and he's good at what he does. And if you want to do rally, you talk to Nick. And I want to do rally. We're going to get that out of the way, because if this chassis is going to break, it's going to be rallying. It will be rally. And I'll probably be driving it into a wall or a ditch or upside down in a lake. Who knows? Upon Nick basically saying I need to change the shocks, there is someone called Rich who builds these a lot. He's going to help me change the shocks on these. You will meet Rich eventually. He's going to help me race this, but for now, rally is the motive, and it's going to need some new shocks. Now, I would say it's been only a day, but I'd be lying because I've had a haircut. Thank you for noticing, by the way. We've got the shocks on. It's a fairly easy change to do. The shocks come with the entire kit that you need to change the shocks. I didn't quite understand how to set them, so I had Rich set them. He kind of just made it so that the car's pretty much all the same height all around. So it's kind of like doing coilovers on a real car, where if you twist them twice, you need to know to twist the rest twice. The final things I've got to do are put these rally tires on, and we are going to cut this out. It's fun. It's fun. I am actually enjoying this. It's very therapeutic. Plus, I'm doing it in work time, so, my boss isn't going to watch this, is he? Imagine if I didn't edit this part and you were just sat watching me in silence, change some wheels. For you guys, this is day 3. But in reality, it's been a few months. It's been raining outside, because good old England. We've had the open day. We've got cars and coffee. I've been rushed off my feet. So this has kind of took a back seat. But I'll tell you one thing that I have not shown you in the video yet. We always decided that we wanted a shell that would suit this car. We're doing rally, racing, drift, and there's one car that kind of nails all 3 elements, bar the drifting to some extent. And there's only one guy in the shop who can really do a shell justice, other than Simon, of course, and that's Steve. Because holding this shell up to the camera would not do the shell justice, and the amount of effort that Steve has put into the shell is actually criminal. If you're a fan of Initial D, if you're a fan of MF Ghost, like I am personally, you're gonna absolutely love this shell. Mainly anime inspired. I'm just gonna cut to the montage, and I'm gonna let you guys see the shell in its full glory. So, look at it. Look at it in all its glory. There's only one thing left to do really now, and if you look at the windows, the sun is shining, and we need to test if this actually can do what Nick says it can do, and we're going to see if we can take it over to a little place that's right next to us called Cannock Chase. This is known for gravel, dirt. I have high hopes. I do have high hopes. So, sadly, if this shell gets battered, sorry Steve, if you're watching, it's time to go to the fun stuff. You've heard all the techno jargon. Hopefully that it hasn't bored you away from the video. We're just gonna straight cut to some clips of this doing what it should do best. Yeah, see you there. If you like that montage, I did it. If you didn't like that montage, it wasn't me. We're now gonna not pull this thing apart, but I'm gonna give a quick check to make sure everything's working as intended. The shell did fantastically. That has been jet washed clean, by the way. There's little dirt marks, scuffs, but you got to understand, we drove this so hard. Like, we abused this. We obviously checked if it was still working afterwards, and it is, and it's ready for the race video. We obviously don't want to give you any misinformation. Even if this car was donated to us, we want to tell you the absolute brass tacks. We want to tell you exactly how it performs, whether you should buy it, and it's still working. We drove it through puddles. We jumped it off gravel. We drifted it in the dirt. Pretty much for the whole day. More out of fun than testing, but obviously we used it as intended. We didn't send it. We didn't jump it like bashing or anything like that. But at the end of the day, this is an on-road car. So we didn't really want to take it anywhere that would be too egregious, but here it is. It's still working. It still did jumps. It still drove through gravel. It did everything you'd expect a rally car to do, which is what we set it to do. We put some monoblocks on it, we put the suspension on it, and we drove it hard. The chassis cover, I definitely recommend. If you're doing something like rally yourself, obviously we did donuts in the dirt, we drifted through the dirt, and this did an excellent job at keeping all the dirt out of the actual chassis itself. We didn't get any bricks in the motor, we didn't really damage anything, which is, I don't want to say entirely down to this, but the mud splatters were primarily in the arches area, which they're gonna be. And it did a really good job at kind of keeping all the mud out of the actual chassis itself. I think the aluminium shocks definitely played a part. I slowed down some of the clips where it was kind of bouncing, and yeah, I don't think the plastic shocks would have took that as well as these guys did. All I have done to prep this for rally is a chassis cover, aluminium shocks, and monoblocks, kind of rally wheels. Any rally wheels will do as long as they're kind of, you know, grippy on gravel. Obviously Nick said my on-road wheels wouldn't work. I completely agree. After actually getting there and seeing these guys have a tough time with traction, I definitely understand what he was saying. I guess since it's still working, we speak to Rich, we see what we can do to get this to race. I imagine these wheels are coming straight back off and the old ones are going back on. And I imagine there's going to be some changes to the motor, maybe the ESC. I think we're going to have good times with this, and we look forward to obviously carrying on this series with you guys, and you can follow the journey along. If you've made it this far into the video, first of all, thank you for watching so much. I spend a lot of time editing these videos and filming them, so I'm really, really appreciative when you guys stick around till the end. And if you did stick this far, then drop in the comments what you want to see this do next. Obviously, the next one is racing. We want to do a little bit of drifting and a comparison to more dedicated chassis like RDXs and Yokomos, and see kind of where they differ. Outside of that, if there's something that you want to see with this chassis, absolutely let us know and we will try and build it accordingly. I kind of want to do a speed run with it. I know that's not on the cards. Put a really, really silly motor in this thing and just see how fast we can get it. I think that'd be quite fun. Let us know your ideas. If you want to see the speed run as well, definitely drop it in the comments. Again, give this video a like, helps us immensely. And I look forward to bringing you more content with this car. And I look forward to learning about RC cars, learning about this place that I'm now working, and learning alongside you guys. You guys are probably going to teach me a lot. You'll notice that we have these stickers on the shell, which is scale bodge not built. These guys make roll cages, intercoolers, exhaust pipes. We didn't put them on this shell, obviously, because we're filming the rally segment and we didn't want to break anything, especially since these guys have really kindly donated us a intercooler and an exhaust pipe for this shell. So we're going to stick those on. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one when we try and race this, and I will inevitably crash it. I've been Ryan from Wheelspin Models, and see you in the next one.